Alright, quick thing before I start. Right now I only have the PS2 version of the game I'm about to review. And while grabbing footage, I collected a bunch of footage from like different sources, like different console versions of the game. So if I get some like facts wrong because of like the version difference, I apologize for that. Anyway, review begin. I've expressed before that I love the Uncharted series. One of my favorite things about it is that it's about treasure hunting. I've always thought that this genre and storytelling was very interesting. So one day while I was walking through my local game store called Game World, I found an Indiana Jones game for the PS2 with a really low price. So I decided, why not, and bought it. Indiana Jones was probably the original treasure hunter in pop culture, and I really love his movies. They're funny, action-packed, and were probably the first movies I watched that were violent. Looking back on it now, it seems pretty tame. So I had really high hopes for this game. What did I think of it? It was okay. I mean, I enjoyed my time playing it, but there were just too many problems with it that I couldn't call it good. Also, this may be my first negative review. Well, not really negative, but you know what I mean. The story, or whatever I could remember from it, involves Indy being seeked out by a Chinese guy and his assistant Mei Ying. He asks Indy to help him find a treasure hidden somewhere in China in the Emperor's tomb. Indy sets off looking for pieces of a mirror that will show him where the tomb is. On the way to collect those pieces, Indy encounters Nazis, sharks, and the most annoying thing in any video game ever. This may sound like a good story, and while it has good ideas, it's just so forgettable. I should be invested with this story. I should care about these characters, but I just don't. And I think I know why. Nothing is developed throughout the game. Every character just appears to dispense exposition, and sure, they may get a few personal moments in, but those are very rare. I am not kidding. The first line of this game is Indy explaining where he is and what treasure he's looking for.
According to the map, that stone head marks the secret entrance into the Lost City. Beyond the city lies the Temple of the Black River Goddess, and inside, the Idol of Kuruwatu. I'm close now.
Like, what the heck? In Uncharted, they were able to explain the treasure they were looking for in a clear, not meta manner. So why can't Indiana Jones do that? After all, it did come before Uncharted. I'm going to make a lot of comparisons to Uncharted in this video, just a heads up. Fun fact number 1. I actually couldn't find any interesting trivia on this game. Seriously, I looked everywhere, I couldn't find it. So instead, I'm going to show facts about the Samoyed. Again, it's not bad, as the story has a lot of good things going for it. I've always liked the idea of finding a treasure in Asia, like in Uncharted 2 or the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot. But unfortunately, that doesn't keep the story from changing what it really is: bland. As for the presentation, that's another thing that bugs me, just not as much. This game probably looked good for the time, but today, it looks like it was made back in 2003. Hey, it was made back in 2003, go figure. It certainly works for the locations the game has, and at the time it was released. I've always liked the PS2's low-quality graphics. It takes me back, honestly. And the locales in the game are interesting too, including a jungle, Prague, Istanbul, and of course, China. The music is decent too. It definitely feels like it would be in an Indiana Jones movie. However, I miss talking smack about this game, so let's continue. I don't know if this is just my version, but the game's frame rate is pretty crap. It drops constantly and it can be very irritating. Also, what the frick is up with the voice acting? Indy doesn't sound too bad, but Mei Ying? Holy crap, what is happening with her? I think the developers were trying to make her sound Chinese, but the final product comes out as a weird hybrid of half Chinese, half British.
The man you know as Marshal Kai is not who he appears to be. Kai Chan is not just an officer in the army, he's also the head of the Black Dragon Triad, the most powerful criminal syndicate in China. He has formed a secret alliance with the Nazis to find the heart of the dragon.
Fun fact number 2. The Samoyed is one of the oldest dog breeds, dating back to the Samoyed people of Siberia, where it used to pull sleds, herd reindeer, and hunt. The presentation is a mixed bag. On one hand, you got the nice locales and awesome soundtrack composed by the very talented Clint Majakian, who also composed Uncharted Golden Abyss. And on the other hand, the lip syncing is on par with Sly Cooper. Now let's talk about something that I actually like about this game, the gameplay. The game is built like any normal third-person shooter. You run, jump, shoot, you know, a basic Wednesday for Indy. But since this is Indiana Jones, you have his trusty whip. You can use it to swing across large gaps and to steal enemies as weapons. The platforming in this game kind of reminds me of games like Uncharted and Tomb Raider. I think this game was jumping on the Tomb Raider bandwagon. That's not a bad thing, far from it. It can be really fun to climb around and jump everywhere. Another thing I like about this game are the puzzles. Sure, they may not be Professor Layton levels of complicated math and reasoning, but they're well thought out. Finally, I really like the gun combat. Once you get a machine gun or a shotgun, it can be so satisfying to take down baddies. It can also be fun in turret sections, except for the one where you have to fend off planes. That one's tedious. Now how about the controls? They're special, to say the least. They're special as in they're very realistic. It feels like you're controlling an actual human, so proper movements like jumping can be hard to pull off sometimes without missing the ledge, falling off, and losing health. While on the topic of falling, if you drop like a couple feet from a platform, you will lose some health. That happened to me a lot. It's not a big problem, but it still bugs me. Fun fact number 3. The Samoyed's most unique trait is its smile. The corners of its mouth turn upward, giving them a happy expression. Now on to the biggest problem I have with the game. The difficulty. Sweet mother of Illuminati Cadbury eggs, this is a hard game. Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb is filled with so many difficulty spikes it's not even funny. I'll list 2 specific moments of sheer difficulty. The first happens in the first level. It's where you have to get a treasure on an island, but the treasure is blocked off and a giant albino croc is swimming around it. So not only do you have to avoid a croc with terrible swimming controls, but you also have to figure a way to get to the treasure. You will not believe how many times I died at this part. Another difficult moment happens when you enter Istanbul. You've just been kidnapped and you've lost all your gear. I thought the ability loss cliche died out. Another thing to complain about in this game are the bosses. There are 5 in the entire game, and all of them are forgettable, pathetic messes. And you know what? They should be awesome. I mean, a robot mech, a kraken, a possessed Mei Ying? These should have been great, but they're not though. It may sound like I absolutely hate the gameplay with a burning passion, but I don't. I just have a crap ton of problems with it, like I have with this game. I want to like this game, I really do, but like I said, there are too many problems with it. Does this game have good stuff? Of course it does. The gameplay is good along with the music, but the forgettable story, hard controls, and sheer difficulty don't add anything good to the table. I had fun playing it, I just don't think I'll ever play it again. If you're interested in this game, I say check it out and see if this game is for you. A 2.5 out of 5. I'm the Pop This Kid, and I gotta go. Adventure is out there.